to Dr. Mix. I'm getting worse, I know. But listen, check what I've got here! Today's episode is sponsored by the lovely guys at IK Multimedia. Now, I've been working with them for a little while, and today I am super excited because I get to play for the first time with a prototype. It just came in and I'm gonna see it for the first time. They also asked me to give them a little bit of feedback, so I'm triple excited about opening this up. You with me? Let's go! By the way, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Yes. And then hit that bell button. Yes. Well done. Uh-oh. Ooh. Hold on a second. What? Look at that. Is that red enough for you? I'm excited already. Oh. Dude. What? Man, this is cool. Is it me or this is super slick? Alright, let's check the other box. Right. Woo! Dude, this is heavy. Super chunky, baby. Nice, super meaty. Thank you for making this synth super chunky. I love you for that. CV gates. All right. Voila. Voila. Papa. Hello, son.
A few moments later.
So there you go. We got the Uno Synth Pro, the daddy, and the Uno Synth Pro, the son. They look cool, right? If I haven't mentioned already, these are prototypes. That means that they came without presets. I am in the process of learning it. In fact, earlier I had a call with one of the kind people at IK Multimedia. They explained me a little bit how it works. Let me show you. So let's start from the initialize sound, which goes like this. So this is basically a 3 oscillator synthesizer plus noise. Let's try and listen to how this sounds. I go to mix first because here you got level 1, 2, 3 and noise. So oscillator 1, 2 and 3. So we're now listening to the first oscillator, this one. And this oscillator, of course, you can select the waveform, which is basically, this is very interesting because this is an OLED display, which is very, very detailed. I'm not sure how much you can see from up there because it's pretty far and this is pretty small, but it looks pretty good actually. So you can go from triangular, triangle. And then you can morph to sawtooth, which morphs to square wave. And you can change the pulse width. I'm gonna start, of course, with the sawtooth, my favorite. So what happens if I pull up the level of oscillator 2? There you go. It's pretty much the same. Here I can actually choose the sync. So I can sync to oscillator 2, to oscillator 3. I'm just gonna skip it off for now. And I'm just gonna go oscillator one more time. And now I'm in tuning. So like this, I can do some detune effect, which gives you that nice chorusy. But if you keep going, you can get different notes. Actually, let me take now, you know what I want to do? Mix. I'm gonna take the oscillator number 3 also, and I'm gonna change it. So straight from the beginning, I want to show you something that is really, really cool. So if you go to the effects section, you have drive, modulation, delay, and reverb. The modulation, delay, and reverb are digital effects, which I'll go into later. But the drive section is analog. It means actually how much distortion you're getting out of the analog circuits. Let me show you. So of course this affects also the volume, obviously. So you go from here, do this. See, this is like a 127. Versus no drive. I hope you can hear past the change in volume. I'm sure you're pretty mature and you can understand the difference. You know, I'm gonna compensate then. Look. With drive, without drive. It's pretty clear, right? You know, whilst I'm at it, I'm gonna show you some modulation here. So for the modulation, I'm gonna go to preset and choose effects, and I'm gonna say modulation. So I can choose type, and so this is gonna be a chorus. It's pretty cool, right? And also I can go for, let's see, phaser. Flanger. Woo. I think I'm developing a little preset here, I like it. And finally, let's try and add some reverb, because there are some pretty cool reverbs on this unit. You know how much I like reverbs. I think that reverbs make synthesizers sound amazing. So we go reverb, let's choose type. I'm gonna go for a plate, which sounds a bit like this. Let's go back to the drive. Let's add some more. Not this much. Also, you have to keep present that this is a real analog synthesizer, so the mixer, where you can decide the level of each oscillator, has an impact on the overall distortion. If I go to mix, I can keep it quite clean, like this, or I can go saturated, like this. Alright, I'm gonna keep it quite, not quite so saturated, because I want to play to you the filter of this unit. It actually has two filters. Let me show you the first filter. I am going to give it a little bit more resonance. Yeah, of course we're going pretty loud now. Let me take the drive off a little bit. That's a little bit too much now. Yeah, it's pretty nasty, isn't it? But check out, it isn't finished because I can select filter number 2. Bang. So if filter number 1 is pretty much what you found on Uno Synth, the original one, except it's an evolution of that, it sounds better. Now the second one is an SSI chip-based filter, and it sounds like this. Let's try different amounts of resonance. It's like super soft. But if I push it up, whoa, it does self-oscillate. But that's not all, because what you can also do is decide how these two filters are going to interact. If you check here, you have 2-pole SER, which means in series, or 4-pole in series, or you can go 2P or 4P parallel. You can have the filters one after the other, or you can have the filters along with one another. Let's see how that makes a difference. So if I go in series, But if I go in parallel, you can go to preset and then you select filters and you can link them. So let's say that you link them for cutoff. Now you have the two filters together. And with the spacing, you can tell what's the offset of each of them. So you can go like this with the filters, but you can also go like this. Right? And because you can select different forms of filter, like for example, filter number 1 has also high pass, not only low pass. So you get effects like this. You know what? Let me put to low pass filter, which sounds better. All right, at this point, I would like to demonstrate the first patch that I have built for the Uno Synth Pro. I can't believe it. I think besides the people who are making it, I'm the first one to ever make a patch on the Uno Synth Pro. What a privilege. Let me show you what I've done earlier. I have put all of the filters on 3 different octaves, and I have put a little bit of delay, a bit of reverb, a bit of saturation, and this is how it sounds. Let me demonstrate the various oscillators of this. So you have oscillator number 1, oscillator number 2, oscillator number 3, which together becomes octave higher, Now that's impressive, isn't it? One other thing that I want to show you is the matrix. Basically, the matrix it's like pretty much having access to a modular synth in a way. Actually, practically you do. To give you an example of how I have set up the matrix to achieve this modulation, right? So the modulation in this case is achieved by setting the first slot of the matrix to the LFO, which basically is this one. The source is going to be the LFO number 1, because here we have 2 LFOs. And this LFO is going to the pitch. And here, the amount of pitch that you're going to get. By setting this one, you basically can mess up with the sound very quickly and very effectively. The other side of this is slot number 2, where I tell basically that the modulation wheel controls the amount of modulation of the pitch. And that's how basically you obtain this. Now, it's a little bit too far. Fine, we've gone a little bit too far. But for example, if I want to change the rate of vibration, then I go to LFO 1 and I choose speed of LFO. You can go even faster like this. In which case we are in FM territory, definitely. This is like super fast. So this is like 44 Hertz, which is pretty fast for an LFO. And then I'm gonna go to the matrix and give it more modulation. So we're going pretty deep, pretty fast. So another thing that I want to point out is the presence of an arpeggiator. Oh, no, let me backpedal. Because with the matrix, you can not only work in a modular way inside of the synth itself, but you can also control the CV gate ins and outs. So this means that pretty much this is limitless because you can send CV gate out, send CV gate in, and so for example, I could work with these two guys at the same time, or I could go with this guy and that guy. Possibilities are pretty endless. So now that I've said that, we have an arpeggiator, which I haven't dug into too much. You know what? I'm gonna try and change the envelope. So if I go to filter and I say I want 37 of envelope modulation on both filters, and then I'm gonna close a little bit both filters like this, and then I'm gonna hit filter envelope. See, arpeggiation. Let me remove the delay. I think it's better without it. So I go to effects, remove the delay, and all right. I want to mention also the sequencer. At this stage, I haven't experimented with it. To be honest with you, I spent just a few hours and I could get a gist of, I do know the original Uno Synth. I did have an advantage, but it's pretty straightforward and pretty intuitive. Having said this, I am going to try and build just a slightly different sound. Let's see what I can do. Remove the arpeggiator. I kind of like this though. All right. Let go, Claudio, let go. So let me put the oscillators all on the same tunage. Maybe the LFO can be a bit slower, yeah. And maybe with the matrix, I should choose a little bit less modulation. So this is the maximum modulation for my wheel. Don't think that this is over because I am going to make more videos about the Uno Synth Pro, and I haven't touched on this, but I mean pretty much it's the same thing, except it's a portable form factor. I'm gonna experiment with this as well in the next video, but in the meantime, one thing is for sure, you should check out the link in the description because this synth is really, really interesting. Thank you so much, IK Multimedia. I'm really honored that you would let me put my dirty hands on a prototype like this. Thank you so much. Guys, I love you. I hope you're doing super well, that you're loving one another and being safe and watching this video next.